Prelude.
It is not an unreasonable request to ask if one's life might be ended by one's soulmate.
The prince consort eyed his queen with cold, damp eyes, the sickness evident, but expunged for a time.
"It is only unreasonable to end it without me,"
she replied, her dour facade cracked by concern.
"Nonsense, Victoria."
Albert coughed into a monogrammed handkerchief and placed it to one side, the blood-splattered letters A and V entwined in a golden embrace.
"I will not have your death on my conscience as I pass into eternity," he heaved.
"We should share eternity."
"Eternity is for lovers, not a queen and her consort."
"You are ever selfish."
"I am sorry you see it this way."
"I do," she said, rising to her feet.
"So, this is how it must end, in bitterness and regret."
"You know my feelings. I have no life without you. There is no life without you. Only your refusal to acquiesce to my wishes, your queen's wishes, sours our final moments. Your stubbornness, your unwillingness to accept me for what I am, has cursed us both." Victoria gave her bedridden husband a look for which words held no meaning, turned her back, and walked away.
"You only ever loved your country, and this country isn't mine."
A final spittle-ridden riposte. "I would have given it up for you," she said, unmoved. "Goodbye, my once love. Godspeed." Victoria adjusted her crown, paused as if to catch a breath, then exited into the palace's frost-bitten corridors. By the time she'd nodded to Perkins, head of the household, to take over the prince consort's tending, he had passed. This was the last time she saw her husband's body, for Victoria refused to bear witness to it in death. The Queen's closest advisers saw to Albert's removal, burial, and funeral. Not she. Sir Magnus Monk, head of the Ministry for Empirical Advancement and chief scientist, dealt with the body. Lords Devonshire, Charlesworth, and Jackson saw to the rest. Victoria shed no tears, though history claimed she did, marking her husband's passing in her own way. Her assumed widow's colours a permanent adornment. She refused to look upon Albert's glass-topped casket, her face remaining impassive throughout. She refused everything, some claimed, even life. Albert's burial was to take place at the Frogmore Estate and the newly erected Royal Mausoleum. A date was set that Victoria cared not for, at a time she knew not when. Apparently, at whatever time and place and date it was, she had an appointment for a manicure. Yet, if one was to have observed Victoria's disdain in those intervening days, the chipped veneer, the changes, they might have noticed the signs of disintegration earlier. Ragged breathing, squinted eyes, the lessening of self, and a slow separation of the spirit. Some might have called it time, the unavoidable progression of our march towards infinity. Mortimer Hedlock, investigator extraordinaire, and the Empire's finest mind, did not. Every word they uttered turned his stomach.
"Is in a better place,"
said one, an elderly dowager who claimed to be from somewhere south of London.
"Is there anywhere south of London?"
replied the crinkled crone beside her.
"There's Brighton,"
said another. The elderly dowager frowned so hard as to have resembled a newly ploughed field.
"As I said, is there anywhere south of London?"
No one answered.